Hello everyone and welcome back to the Technomentalist channel. This is the fourth episode in the series My Journey to Financial Freedom. In this episode, I'll be going over my portfolio as usual at the beginning and then talking about a holding in my portfolio. Before we get started, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has supported us here on the channel. We're currently sitting at just under 70 subscribers. And also thank you to everyone who has followed us on Twitter where we're almost at 100 followers. If you do follow us on Twitter, you saw today was a big day for this portfolio that I have started for this series. Earlier today I put out this tweet down here showing that my portfolio has gone up over 100%, so it has doubled in the time I've opened it, which is just about 3 months. I went through and calculated my contributions to this portfolio, which are currently $2,920. And as of right now, my broker is showing that this portfolio has a market value of $5,970. So we're sitting at just under 6 grand with a total capital gains of approximately 3 grand, which if I'm being honest, I did not expect from this portfolio. I knew that these were great companies and that I was making some great picks here with my holdings, but I could not have seen it going up 100% in just 3 months, despite the fact that I saw huge capital and investment growth opportunities within the green energy industry that this portfolio is sort of based on. For those of you that were watching, I'm sure you know that this morning the market opened very high and overall it was a green day for the market. I put out this tweet early on in the morning. I actually had slept in, but I woke up to all these notifications of companies that I follow reaching a 52-week high for the day. And then another interesting thing that happened today was Elon Musk officially became the richest person on the planet, which is amazing. I think he's a great business person. He's got a lot of revolutionary ideas with Tesla, the EVs, the battery technology, and then also with SpaceX. So congratulations to Elon Musk. I'm excited to see what he does next. Now, for those of you that watched my previous video, you'll know that I talked about one of my holdings and did a high-level analysis of the company, which is Renesola. And this stock actually had a crazy day today. You could see that the days range is from $16.02 to $23. We look at the 5-day chart. It was going crazy. The company actually announced today that it would be issuing shares. So that explains the drop down here to $16, which was around the price that they issued the shares for. In my personal opinion, I think that this is a great move for Sol as they could issue shares at an attractive price. If you look at, let's say, the 6-month chart here, in July, they were trading at just under $2. Even in December, which was one of the high times for the end of 2020, you can see that it was trading at just under $8. So getting the chance to issue shares at $16 is great for the company as they'll be able to use that cash to expand their growing portfolio of global solar projects. Sol has continued to be my strongest holding in my portfolio so far, giving me an attractive return of 2.3K. And if you look here, you can see some of the holdings that I have in my tax-free account that may not be in this portfolio, but other companies that I'm invested in. You also may notice that we now have an Australian stock exchange appearing this week, which is Deep Yellow Limited. They're a uranium company based out of Australia, obviously. I won't go too much into detail about them as I plan on doing a full video dedicated to Deep Yellow. Now that we're finished the portfolio update for this week, let's get right into the stock review of VivoPower. VivoPower is a company that's in a lot of different areas. They do a few different things, but I think they summed it up nicely here. They're a sustainable energy solutions company. VivoPower operates through 4 main segments. So Tembo, which is an EV segment, VivoSolar, which provides solar power and battery storage systems, and Kenshaw and J.A. Martin, which are both critical power subsidiaries of the company. The company also provides these services worldwide. It is very well diversified with operations in Australia, the United Kingdom, as well as the United States. Kenshaw provides critical and mechanical power services, which is very important as often businesses or even hospitals will need a reliable source of power. So this is where Kenshaw comes in. They're able to design, manufacture, install, repair, pretty much do whatever for critical power needs. And then the company's subsidiary J.A. Martin also provides many electrical services, which include cabling, engineering, installation, servicing, as well as solar electrical services. I'll get into a bit more about VVPR's solar operations when we take a look at the company's annual presentation, but for now, let's talk about Tembo 4x4 EV. Around the time when I bought VVPR, it was announced that they had purchased a 51% stake in Tembo EV. Tembo is a electric vehicle manufacturer which retrofits old Toyota vehicles to be used in mining operations, especially in Australia. I think this acquisition was a smart move for VVPR as they paid 4.7 million US dollars with the option to fully buy out the company in the future, which was a great price to pay for the company as they're generating nearly half of the price they paid in revenues each year. And VVPR also states that they see the market for commercial fleet EVs to be at least 36 billion in the areas that Tembo operates. Tembo takes Toyota trucks and mine vehicles and takes out the engine, takes out all the fuel lines and everything, replaces it with electric vehicle parts such as batteries and electronic connectors. It makes these fleet vehicles with the purpose of off-road on rugged terrain and in-mine use, which is very popular in Australia. The Netherlands-based company Tembo started making these cars as a zero-emission vehicle, which are low cost to retrofit and perfect for underground mining operations. As these vehicles are used quite often and on rugged terrain, mining companies do find themselves going through a fleet very often, which is a competitive advantage that Tembo has as they are low cost. Another advantage of having an electric vehicle running in a mine is that there's no internal combustion engine, which makes the operation of mining much safer. Now let's jump into VVPR's financial statements from the investor presentation for year-end 2020. It is important to note if you're thinking of investing in this company, their year-end is in June and they do not have very many news releases or don't provide quarterly updates, so you will have to be very patient and wait for their announcements. So the fiscal year of 2020 was pretty interesting as it captured the global pandemic. Despite these challenges, VVPR was able to increase revenues 12% year over year, mostly driven by Avitas, which is Kenshaw and J.A. Martin Critical Power Services. Gross profit also increased year over year, which is another great thing to look for. This was up 28%. The company also managed to reduce overheads, turn around EBITDA to a profit compared with a loss in the previous year, and saw their balance sheet reflect increases in working capital. As this investor presentation was prior to the announcement of the acquisition of Tembo EV, we could see that they wanted to get into the EV and battery sustainable energy solution sectors. Despite this, it is still a bit risky as the company did report a net loss for the year, although it was drastically less than the loss reported in the previous year. Jumping to the company's balance sheet, it is important to note that we have seen net debt increase year over year to 23 million. Critical Power Services saw record growth as mentioned, and it's great to see that the company has over 700 commercial, industrial, and government contracts throughout a wide range of industries. It is also good to see that the company was able to increase their revenues while fighting the effects of the pandemic, and projects were still delayed. And despite all this, they ended up recording higher sales than the previous year. Through the company's 50/50 joint venture, they have a large portfolio of solar assets within the United States. During the fiscal year 2020, they saw the US solar market rebound, with the company being able to complete 12.1 gigawatts of projects. The company did have some project issues with their joint venture partner, which resulted in project delays, and there are currently legal discussions going on with ISS, the JV partner. Since VVPR has gained control of the joint venture, they have implemented a turnaround plan which will improve governments and stakeholder engagement as well as active portfolio management. In the Australian solar portfolio, VVPR collaborates with J.A. Martin and its Avitas business units, with the company expecting Australian governments to promote renewable investment throughout 2021. VVPR also expects a strong solar and battery storage demand for commercial and industrial use. The company also has some fiscal year 2021 key objectives, which include winning new EV and SES customer orders, which we know that they achieved through their acquisition of Tembo. They also wanted to scale up the Avitas business unit, which is their main source of revenue. And in the US solar portfolio, they want to secure all economic ownership of their JV, which I think is a smart idea. In Australia, they want to take advantage of government investment opportunities and grow their solar portfolio as well as their battery pipeline. I think there's a huge opportunity for renewable electricity generation and battery storage in Australia, as we've seen them have issues with their grid and forcing rolling blackouts. My position in VVPR is up 46% since the beginning of October when I purchased it. I'm most excited to see what the Tembo acquisition has to offer, and despite seeing large capital gains from this stock, I will continue to hold as I think the company's doing great things. They're in all the right places. They're slowly heading towards profitability and they seem to be on the right track. That does it for today's video, you guys. As always, this is not investment advice. It's just my personal opinion, why I chose this portfolio. If you haven't yet, I will link the Twitter and Instagram down below. Please make sure to go and give us a follow, as you'll see more articles throughout the day, more tweets, and be able to keep up to date on what's going on with the Tech Mentalist channel. Thank you for watching. Hope everyone stays safe, and this has been my journey to financial freedom.